Okay, so this morning, hopefully you got the idea of labelling the sides O, A and H. The people who managed to share those with me in Google Docs seem to have done really well. Hopefully it's quite easy. All we're going to do now is just take it one step further. So it is trigonometry, and it's to do with sine, cosine and tangent. They're the three things. In the calculator, you'll have seen these buttons sin, cos and tan. They're on the calculator. This really is to do with ratio, and it's to do with the ratio of the sides of a right angled triangle. So if you've got an angle, so just by the way, this symbol here, we say this is theta. It's just a Greek letter which we use to denote an angle. So it could be x, it could be anything. It doesn't really matter. It just means an angle, an unknown angle. So it means that sine theta is the ratio of the opposite side of a right angled triangle to the hypotenuse of the right angled triangle. So sine theta is the ratio between the opposite and the hypotenuse. Cos theta is the ratio between the adjacent and the hypotenuse, and tan theta is the ratio between the opposite and adjacent, always. And it doesn't matter how big the triangle is or how small the triangle is, the ratio is still going to give the same angle. So if we have a look at this triangle here, if I take this triangle, if I make it bigger, the ratio between the opposite and the adjacent is always going to be the same. So even if we make it a bigger triangle, the ratio between the opposite side and the adjacent side would still be the same, or it doesn't matter how large or how small the triangle is. So what we're really going to have to do, if we've got the triangle, what we're really going to have to do is you'll have an angle marked, so it's x. There'll be two sides that contain some information, okay? And it could be this side is labelled as 12 and this side is labelled as 20, for example. You then, and that would be, the question would look something like this. What you then need to do is you then need to decide which one is the opposite, which one is the adjacent, and which one is the hypotenuse. So 12 is across from the angle. So 12 is across from the angle. So 12 is the opposite. 20 is across from the hypotenuse, from the 90 degrees, so 20 is the hypotenuse. The other side that's left over hasn't got any number or any x or anything on it. We don't really care about it, so we're just going to ignore that side altogether. So we've got the opposite and hypotenuse. What we then do is we look at the top and we look up in the blue box at the top, which one of these three has got the opposite and the hypotenuse in. Well, tan theta has got opposite and adjacent. Cos theta is adjacent and hypotenuse. It's sine theta that has got opposite and hypotenuse. So for this triangle, all we're going to be doing is reduce sine theta. Okay, that's the one that we're going to be using. So all we're doing for the next task is just saying, okay, we've labelled our triangle, we've labelled the two sides that have got some information on, and then we're just choosing, are we going to use sine, cos or tan? We're not actually working anything out yet. We'll do that next. So if I just do another example, another couple of examples just to show you. So if we get a right angle triangle, so let's just spin this one around, just so you get used to how they can be different, okay, because they can look different. If we have a right angle triangle here, it's right angled, your question would give it to you and it might look like this, okay? It might look like right angle and it could have this as an angle this time. Let's say that's 60 degrees. One of the sides would be labelled x and another side could be labelled any number at all. So let's go for 50. Okay, so that would be the question. What you've then got to do is you've got to label the sides that have got some information on. So this time you've got the side opposite the angle. And that's just the angle given, okay? Sometimes it will be given as a number, sometimes it will be given as x. You've got that side there. That's the opposite. You've also got the side that's next to the angle. So you've got the side next to the angle. This is the adjacent. You then look back at the top, look at the blue box. This is the really important thing for this. So the two sides that we've got are O and A. The hypotenuse hasn't got any stuff on it. We don't care at all, okay? So hypotenuse, not interested in the slightest. So you look back up at this up here, and look back up at this triangle, the information up here. You then want to use, you've got opposite and you've got the adjacent. So if you've got the opposite and the adjacent, look up here. Sine is opposite and hypotenuse, cos is adjacent and hypotenuse, tan is the one with the opposite and the adjacent. So for this one, we're just going to be using tan. Okay, that's all we're doing, just labeling which one of the three are we going to use. Let's just do one more example. Okay, so we've got another triangle again. Let's spin it around. So this time we'll make up some numbers. Again, these are given to you in the question. So we'll have this one, this angle here as 50 degrees. We'll have the side over here as 12, and this time we'll have this one as x. Okay. So first of all, we've got the right angle here. This is what the question will look like. We now need to just fill in the information that we've just done in other questions. So right straight across from the 90 degrees, that's going to be your hypotenuse. Label that side H. Next to the angle, so next to the angle is the 12, so that's going to be adjacent. Opposite the angle would be the side. Opposite the angle would be the side over here. But there's nothing on this, there's no number, there's no letter, we don't care at all. Even if the question also had in the A, B and C, they're just the corners, they're just the vertices of the triangle. Again, they have no impact on the question really. So once we've got A and H sorted out, we go back, we look at the top. So if we go back up, we look at the box up here. You probably want to have that. I mean, it's not very much information, you'll probably learn it really quickly, but when you do the task, you may want to have that drawn out or in front of you to help you out. So we've got, in this question, we've got A and we've got H. So for A and H, we look up here. Sine theta is O and H. Cos theta is A and H. A and H, perfect. So then we know that this one is going to be cos for this one. Okay, cos theta. Probably should put tan theta in there. Okay, that's all you're going to be doing for the next task. I'll actually go through the task just in the next video.